Welcome to your favorite program, Books and Nooks of Hope. In this program, we discuss books and nothing but books. And today in studio, we are glad to host two wonderful ladies who are here with us to help us come to the speed with the book that they have brought for us for today. The first one is Sister Tabitha Opio, who is a veteran literature evangelist, has been dealing with books for many years, and through her ministry, many have been blessed. Sister Tabitha, you can greet the viewer.
Hello, viewer. Welcome.
Thank you. And next, we have Sister Elizabeth Koech, who is also another veteran literature evangelist, very strong, a real champion in the ministry, has distributed thousands and thousands of books all over. Welcome to the show, Sister Elizabeth. You can say hello to the viewer.
Hi, viewer.
Thank you so much. We are glad to have you in studio, and we just want to know from you, what book have you brought for us today?
Today, we have a beautiful book called Daily Illustrated Bible, or Illustrated Daily Bible, and the author is called Rhoda Davis.
And so, Elizabeth, what's so special about this book?
Wow. The Illustrated Daily Bible is a devotional Bible for children. Not only for children. Most of my clients I take this book to, they normally tell me that that they didn't get an opportunity to have these books when they were young. And now they're learning daily. They want to learn daily. As their children are learning, they want to learn with the children day by day, doing the Bible.
So when you call it an illustrated Bible, Elizabeth, how different is it from any other Bible?
Any other Bible, you get verse, chapter, and verse 1, verse 2, verse 3. But this one, fit for all the children because it's a story. It's been summarized. Now you're getting all the concepts that are in the verses
So
as
they're
a story.
summarized together.
Yes.
Again, Sister Tabitha, what's so different about this illustrated Bible?
The reason why I love this book is because, one, as a preacher, I can use this book to preach. Because the stories are short, and each and every story has where the story is coming from.
Good for some of us who love short sermons.
Exactly. And apart from that, they have very beautiful pictures. Kids love color.
Yes.
So when you are reading this to your child and you see the pictures and you show them the picture, it is even more attractive to them. So for that child, for that parent who says, you know what, Tabitha, I am so busy and I do not have time to read for my children, this is a book that will make you have time. Because, for example, in the beginning, the story is up to there. It's about the story in the book of Genesis.
Yes.
So if you are going to make this a daily routine, and your child reads, the child is going to also grow spiritually.
So why do you call it Daily Illustrated Bible?
Because it's supposed to be read every day.
So it takes care of 365 days in a year.
Yeah.
And there are people who say, oh, I don't have time to read the Bible. This is going to be a beautiful book that will encourage you to read the Bible each and every day.
And you say the stories have been compressed and synthesized, making it easier for me.
And fun.
So definitely it would be a very lovely book for the young children, don't you think so?
Of course, yeah.
But you say that adults also would love this book, and why is that?
You know, the other time I got this friend of mine that I was trying to talk to buy this book. And I asked him, hey, which book do you like? Like in the Bible, do you love the Old Testament or the New Testament? And he's like, you know what, I love the whole Bible. But I was...
Me too, I love the whole Bible.
I just don't want to ask you this on national TV, but I challenged my client. I asked him, okay, just let me know if it's the Old Testament or the New Testament. And he told me, hey, I love the Old Testament. I said, okay, I have a question for you. So I opened Old Testament and I asked him, for example, the story is about Gideon's small army. So I gave him an example of Gideon's small army and I asked him where the story is coming from. And he looked at me and could not even answer. So I told him the book is Judges chapter 7, verse 1 to 8. And that also encouraged him that this book is not only for children, but it's also for adults.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So it's a beautiful book that will help all ages.
Elizabeth, what would you have to say?
About this book? Personally, I have a copy. I'm blessed with 3 children. As I teach them daily, this book, this Bible, have memory verses. It
Yes.
have memory verses daily. We are not able to memorize verses daily.
Yes.
Because so much like it's not practical. Daily. We normally memorize verse a week.
Once a week.
Yeah, once a week.
Okay.
We started with a month. I normally encourage my clients that start even a verse in a month.
Yes.
Like the first verse is Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created heaven and earth. As I teach my own children, I also learn. Because this book is, you're able to read the whole Bible
So
within
you
1
teach
year.
your children how to memorize,
Yes.
and you also learn how to memorize.
Yeah.
Have you memorized some?
Yes.
Can you tell us what you've memorized?
In the beginning, God created heaven and earth. And recently, actually, we are doing a memory verse from this, and we can now take almost like the whole chapter in the Bible.
Yes.
Do you want to know any?
Yes, tell me.
Oh, I have a memory verse from the book of Romans 8. It says, "There is therefore now no condemnation to those who are in Christ Jesus, who do not live according to the flesh, but according to the Spirit. For those who live according to the flesh set their minds on the things of the flesh, but those who live according to the Spirit, the things of the Spirit. For to be carnally minded is death, and to be spiritually minded is life and peace. Because the carnal mind is enmity against God, for it is not subject to the law of God, nor indeed can be. So then, those who are in the flesh cannot please God, but you are not in the flesh, but in the Spirit, if indeed the Spirit of God dwell in you."
Wait. You memorized the whole of Romans chapter 8?
It's not all of it. We are yet to finish. We've gone to verse 11.
How are you able to do that?
We do it daily.
With your children?
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
You know, the beauty part of it is that because children are children, you know, 21st children, how they are. 21st century children. What I normally do to them, we normally, together with my husband, we normally reward our children for memorizing a verse. So whenever they have seen a place, they want like, they need to go to that place, a new
place, like a new town.
Yeah, like a new town, or for some place.
You put a tag on it. If you memorize this, we'll get you to visit this
The
place.
last memory verses I gave them was the memory verse from the book of Titus 2, verse 11 to 15. And I was getting them when they are playing their chalongo. You know chalongo?
Chalongo.
Yes. When they are playing their own chalongo, you'll hear, "Hey, Ray, memorize. I think this Sunday we would go if you will memorize faster."
Wow.
So like Kim is telling Ray, memorize. Me,
So
she's
it
saying,
motivates them.
motivating them, because themselves as they play their things outside there, they're saying, "Hey, for the grace of God that bringeth salvation has appeared to all men,
Wow.
teaching us that denying ungodliness and worldly lust, we should live soberly, righteously, and godly in this present world."
Thank you so much.
And as they learn, I normally help them also to memorize.
Wow.
So we do it daily. Let me give you something kidogo on how we do it. For the grace of God, we can do for the grace of God today. For the grace of God,
So it's
for
just
the grace of God. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Tomorrow we do for the grace of God that bringeth salvation. For the
And you
grace
go
of
on
God
and
that
on
bringeth
and on and
salvation
on.
daily.
Thank you so much.
I
Consistency.
think I totally agree with what Elizabeth is saying. But this is just like we mentioned, it's not only for children. There's that adult, dear viewer, who is definitely struggling to also read the Bible.
Yes.
Or have memory verses. You can also find it very interesting by, reading the shorter verses to encourage yourself.
Tell me, Sister Tabby, have you sold this book out to people?
I have done it.
And what has been their response?
They love it, number one, because first, just like we mentioned, that the stories are really short. And the cover of this book is really, how do you call it?
It's beautiful.
Apart
Looks attractive. Yeah.
Yes,
Durable.
and it is very firm. You can have this book from generation to generation.
Yes,
It's
yes.
a book that
It wouldn't fall apart
exactly.
easily.
Yes, the cover is tough enough. And apart from that, it does not only talk about the Bible stories. It has a lot of the encyclopedia. It has an encyclopedia at the end,
Okay.
so it can also help you to learn so many other things apart from
Now,
religion.
go with me to page 16.
Page
I
16.
get there a story
Right.
about Noah's Ark.
Right.
Tell me about that story about Noah's Ark.
It comes from the book of Genesis, chapter
Yes.
6. And it is talking about the way Noah built the ark and encouraged people to get into the ark, but many people refused. Now, we're told that Noah got into the ark and got in with different animals, but there were two. They got in two by two.
Yes.
2 by 2, until, of course, when it started raining and people realized that, they were being called to get into the ark, but they disobeyed. The story, of course, it has, the story is shorter here.
It's summarized.
It's summarized because, the kids, the concentration level is not as...
Yeah, they have a short concentration span.
Exactly.
Okay.
So this also makes them, love the story
how
of...
does that story help my kids?
It makes them believe, to have faith, because the story of Noah is mostly about faith.
Faith in God.
Yes, in God. Can you imagine? It has not rained for how many years? And then somebody comes like, hey, you know what? We're building an ark and it's going to rain for so many years.
Now, if you could just flip over and go into chapter 17, page 17.
Page 17.
I find that issue of the rainbow also another attractive one.
Page 17. Right.
Tell me about the rainbow.
Maybe
It's a promise.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rainbow, God gave the rainbow as a promise that it's not going to flood anymore. Yeah.
Yes. And so how does this help children when they go through that story?
That God keeps his promises.
It happened once and God promises that it will not happen again.
And it will not happen again.
So what I see about this illustrated Bible is that it's more than a Bible.
It is more than a Bible, yeah.
It's a book that builds values in young people.
Right. And the spiritual growth.
And
apart from that, because when a child reads this, the reading skills also get better. And when your reading skill gets better, they're able to communicate.
I think as opposed to those who spend more time watching TV,
Yes.
I think reading helps them in their mental intellect
really
more
does.
than just sitting back and watching TV.
And when that happens, they're able to also perform well in school.
Academically.
And their self-esteem will also go up. And when you have high self-esteem, you're able to knock doors. You're able to knock doors. Because you have a personality, you are able to talk to big people and small people.
You're able to banish this aspect of fear. And
exactly.
You can boldly go before doors and knock and get what you want.
And it can, you know what the beauty about this? Your child can also be a preacher.
Your child can be a preacher.
Yeah, isn't that beautiful?
I normally tell God, maybe so many other people maybe are just raising children. But I told God, I want to raise missionaries.
You want to raise more than children.
Yes.
You want to raise missionaries.
Yeah,
and that's why you're using the illustrated Bible.
Daily.
And that's why you are pushing it out there for people to do the same.
Yes.
What an awesome world this would be if we raise children who are more than children, but missionaries. Wow,
Missionaries. Every day you're assured of reading the Bible because it has 365 days.
365 days.
And that is a
means
whole year.
365 Bible stories.
Right.
Wow, this is beautiful. Dear viewer, you're watching Books and Nooks of Hope, and this is your favorite program. And we have in studio our very, very special guest, Sister Elizabeth Koech and Sister Tabitha Opio, who are bringing us to speed on the gems in this book, the Illustrated Bible. We are going to take a short break, but we'll be right back after the break. So don't go away. Stay right there. Books and Nooks of Hope. Welcome back to Books and Nooks of Hope. This is your favorite program where we dwell on nothing but books and books. And today we have very, very special guest in studio helping us to understand this book, the Illustrated Bible. We have our sister Elizabeth Koech, who is a veteran literature evangelist. She has dealt with books for many years, and she has been a blessing to many people who have received these books through her hands. And we also have our sister Tabitha Opio, another veteran literature evangelist who has been used of God to bless many homes by bringing them books such as this. And today they are talking about the Illustrated Bible. They have already told us about this special book with 365 Bible stories running from January all the way to December. Concise, precise stories just for you so that you can enjoy. What more do we have in this book, Sister Elizabeth?
The more we have in this book is the part of encyclopedia.
The encyclopedia.
Encyclopedia is where there are terms in the Bible that maybe you'll not be understanding, and your child may not be understanding. For example, we have the encyclopedia part on foods, farming, plants and animals, families, clothing. For example, let's do the families.
Yes.
On the families, your child can ask you, what is this burial thing? On the story of Lazarus, when he was buried. Now, what is that burial? What is to die and be buried and then resurrect? Now, you're able to go back of this book, having the pages here, you're able to explain the burial.
The burial story.
Yes, the burial story.
It's right inside the book.
Yes. Now, in old times, they used to do the caves,
wrap the body and
wrap
put them
the body
in caves
here,
and
then
roll
the
a
stone
to cover that. Yes.
You're able now to explain to these small children.
Yeah.
Okay, Tabitha, tell us more about this encyclopedia. You started it all.
Yeah, I think she pretty much has said that, and you know, just like she's in the page of clothing. Back in those many years, the clothing that they had were not the same as now.
Very different from what you wear
So
now.
your child or even an adult might not even understand, but the encyclopedia will explain. You know, if you look at Jesus, which kind of cloth did he have? You know,
Never put on a suit and a tie like
actually, exactly. So you will be able to explain, because you know, back in there with the cultures, they had different ways of, you know, dressing. So you'll be able to explain to yourself and to also your child or whoever is reading, so that they understand more about the cloth.
Even for an example of what she's saying is the linen that Jesus used.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jesus wore a cloth that rich men wore.
That linen.
Yeah, that
Right,
linen.
linen is
That is
It
the
must have been
reason.
a special cloth.
Right.
Yeah, that's the reason when he was about to die, the people snatched
His clothes.
his
His
clothes.
cloth
Yeah.
and they cast lot
Yes.
on it.
Yeah.
Because it
Who
was
will
a
take?
special
Who will
one.
take? Yeah, you will not want to take a rag. You like these nice clothes.
Yeah, yeah.
That's very, very important. I looked at the stories there. There are stories in the Old Testament and the stories in the New Testament. One of those I found there was the birth of Samson. How does the story of the birth of Samson help up my children? I see when Samson is born, the angel brings the message
Yes.
to Manoah's wife, and in that scenario, Samson is born.
Lately, I was teaching my children that very story. And I was telling them when this angel came, meeting Mrs. Manoah, she was seated somewhere there. And my children were imagining Mrs. Manoah seated there.
can
And the
imagine
angel
that.
is coming. You're going to get you're going to be blessed to have a child.
Yes.
And this message, she was given instructions. Don't eat this.
Yeah.
Don't drink this, especially like wine.
Because this child is going to be a Nazarite, a special child.
Very
Sure.
special.
So then Mr. Manoah came and like the wife was giving the news. You know what? The angel came and he told me this and this.
ABCD, yes.
So, no, wait. Did you get the instructions well?
Correctly.
Right.
Wait, are we going to be blessed with a child? So after they explained, Mr. Manoah went aside, told God, God, please let that angel come
back
again.
again.
And
Yes.
give me as a husband, as a father of this home.
The real story.
The real story and
I want to get it
instructions.
firsthand.
Yes, I want to be seeing her until, hey,
Yes.
he said,
Right,
don't
right.
eat this.
As a father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that helps these children to know that God is the one who blesses us with children.
Right.
And probably this child would know that he is also a special
Very
child.
special.
He needs
Very
to be
special.
careful on what he consumes, what he takes, what he drinks, so that he doesn't just go playing around with his...
Yeah.
you talked about the ego.
Yeah.
They need to build this self-esteem
Right.
from their tender ages, knowing that they are special children, they belong to God.
Right.
And even-
The story of Samson it's just a beautiful story.
It's a mind-boggling story.
Exactly. Like, can you imagine? I always say God has a sense of humor. Like, he puts his strength in the hair.
Look at that. In
Really,
the hair.
God? Yes. Like, why not somewhere else?
Yes.
You know? So God, you know, the way God works is just mysterious. Yes, we will only understand him when we go to heaven.
On page 124, I find a very interesting story about David and Jonathan.
Right.
And it amazes me the kind of friendship that these two had. You know, Elizabeth, think about your children.
And siblings.
And their siblings.
Yeah.
These issues of sibling
Rivalry.
What can we make of the story of David and Jonathan and the friendship that these two enjoyed?
You know, the story is interesting. I am blessed to have siblings. If you ask me how many kids my mom has, I don't know.
Why?
Because we are many.
How many is many?
Many. You can't count your fingers and finish.
Would you say you're a legion?
And I look back at my family and I'm thinking, do I have a sibling that I'm that close? You know, the way David
was close to Jonathan.
Yeah. So this is also a story that is also talking to us as even family, you know, and even friends. Are we able to go an extra mile for that friend of yours? Leave alone that even sibling, you know? So this is a story, and David really also trusted in God.
Yes.
He was God's friend. He was God's friend.
Actually, the Bible calls him a man after God's own heart.
Yeah. Yes.
Koech, tell us about this friendship between Jonathan and David.
I really admire their friendship because, you know, sometimes I can betray my friend.
Even your sister.
Which is very bad, actually. But when you see the story of David and Jonathan, David loved Jonathan more than a brother, more than just a friend.
Can you imagine, it is Jonathan's father, King Saul, who was trying to kill David.
Yeah.
And Jonathan, yet he still loves him that much.
And Jonathan gives David all the plans,
protection
of the dad.
Of the father.
You're going to be killed today. Don't come over. Yeah.
No, that's amazing.
Friendship.
Apart from that, this has really helped me as a parent to always treasure my children's friends. They come playing in my compound. Sometimes they can even come inside the house. Like, I need to respect their friends too.
Yes.
As a parent.
Very important.
Yeah.
Very important.
And then David and the brother, are you a true friend to your friend?
Yeah.
That is also speaking to us
Very
as
important.
adults. Are you a true friend?
Many of us as adults become friends, but we're not true to our friends. We are not faithful.
We're not. We actually have a reason. Let me say we are opportunists. I'm sorry to use that word.
It's unfortunate, but that's exactly what most of us are.
Yeah.
We want to take advantage of our friends.
Yeah.
And this was not the case with David and Jonathan.
And then, you know, this story, most of the times when we want to hear from God, we read stories, we think of other people.
We don't think that this story is speaking to me.
Exactly.
Yeah, we think that it's speaking to someone else.
This story must be talking about Elizabeth. This story must be talking about Pastor.
Now, there's another one I got on page 194 of the Illustrated Bible. And this is the amazing story of Daniel and the lions.
Wow.
Every time I think about Daniel,
Yes.
I get amazed by this young man. I don't know what kind of trust, what kind of faith this man had in God, that God would protect him. You know, first it's with his friends Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Yeah.
They are thrown into the fiery furnace. And then Daniel himself is thrown into the lion's den.
Yeah.
And he comes out unscathed, unhurt.
I think, for me, there was also friendship. Yes, they trusted and believed in God, but they're also friends with God.
They're also friends with God.
Yeah.
So God is just not a super being up there, but he's your close friend.
And this is your friend, you do what you have to do to protect your friend. So God had to protect Daniel. Can you imagine? From lions. I have only seen lions in pictures. Or if, okay, no, let me say, not, okay, like the closest I've seen a lion, of course I would not even move that close. If maybe I go to an animal orphanage, yes, but
you get even
under
the roar of
protection,
the lion,
yes,
and you feel scared.
Very scared.
Koech, what is this about Daniel?
More about Daniel, as I was teaching lately in church, I'm a primary class
You look
teacher.
like you love teaching children.
Yeah, I love teaching them. It's one of my hobbies.
Yes.
As I teach children in church, there's a boy who asked me, so as he was going to a neighbor's home, there's a dog that ran to him and he screamed So he asked me, did Daniel scream?
Just I can imagine.
They're relating their situation
Yes.
with that dog, with the situation of Daniel.
Yeah.
Daniel and the lion.
That's amazing.
No.
So what did you tell them?
Of
Did
course
Daniel scream?
No. It was a real test. I told him that it was a real test from God, and we need to trust God that much. We need to trust. I told him that you know
God
that you have a
that
guardian
much.
angel guarding you everywhere you go.
All the time,
Yeah.
24/7.
Sure.
Go to the last story on page 314. It amazes me
314.
when it talks about the new heaven and the new earth. What will that be like, Tabitha? New heaven.
Unbelievable. As much as they describe it, it's just, I try to imagine, but I can't even imagine.
You can't. You
Yes.
can't. It's beyond your
It is
imagination.
beyond my imagination. It is beautiful. Elizabeth, continue.
Let me tell you, on a daily basis, as I teach children, the ultimate goal of every Christian is to reach this new heaven,
New heaven,
new
new
earth.
earth.
So as we prepare, or as we all prepare for this new heaven, new earth, I normally tell my children and the children in the church or whatever, as I go teaching and taking these books door to door, I normally teach these children that that when you go to heaven, one day Jesus is coming,
And he'll take us to
and he'll
heaven.
take us to heaven. This same Jesus that the disciples saw going, in the same way he's coming, and will be there forever and ever.
And you know what I like about that? The Bible actually says there'll be no more pain, no more crying, no more sorrow, no more tears because the former things have passed away.
Behold, they are new now.
Everything
is
becomes anew.
Yeah.
Now, can you imagine teaching your child through 365 days, and on the last day you come to that situation where the child is just brought to this situation that there's a new heaven and a new earth, and God has gone to prepare a place for us.
Where there won't be no corona.
No COVID-19.
No, nothing. You won't even have to worry about, you know what, like Elizabeth is white or black. We won't have to worry about
Will
that.
be the same.
We won't have to worry about food. We won't have to worry about anything.
Every situation is taken care of.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ladies. This has been an awesome experience talking about the illustrated Bible in this favorite program, Books and Nooks of Hope. We have had Sister Elizabeth Opio and Sister Elizabeth Koech and Sister Tabitha Opio, and they've been helping us to come to terms with this book, The Illustrated Bible. I enjoyed this session, and I'm looking forward to having you again in another session of Books and Nooks of Hope. If you would like to have a copy of this book, please make sure you call the numbers that are running under your screen, and these two wonderful ladies or any other literature evangelist out there will be glad to avail these books to you. May you be blessed and enriched as you devour, enjoy these books. Thank you so much.